Doing digital photography with the help of technology can really be easy if we know what are the tools and the parameters that are involved while taking a photograph. You have been introduced to the concepts, key concepts that are important to know in taking a photograph, as well as the tools that help us to make the correct exposure. Now let's move on and get to know about other tools of digital photography that we must know to be able to get the photographs that we want to take. This lesson focuses on lenses, focal length, full frame format cameras and cropped frame format cameras. In this video, Mr. Poochi Venkat, who specializes in macro photography and photographing insects, will show us a camera lens and how to use it properly. Over to Mr. Poochi Venkat.
This, as all of you would know, is a DSLR or a digital single lens reflex camera. The unique thing about this type of a camera is it has got two parts. One is the lens and one is the body. So this is called the lens and this is called the camera body. A very interesting point about this arrangement is the fact that the lens can be completely detached from the body and replaced with any other lens of a different focal length or a different function, which can be used for more precise photography. So let me now show you how that happens. So you have a small button here, just depress the button, you turn the lens and it just comes off. So this is the lens and this is the camera body. Each of these has got a different function and I am going to show you how they actually work together to give you the best possible pictures. Here is a typical lens of a DSLR separated from the body. So you have the lens in different sections and you have the lens cap that protects the lens. You can see the front element here. And you have the central part, which is the zoom ring. Incidentally, this is a zoom lens, which means that its focal length can be varied from one value to another. And this particular lens has got a value from 18 to 55 mm. And this is the ring that allows you to zoom the lens like this. So you see, as you turn it, the lens actually moves in and out, thereby varying the focal length. Then you have an outside ring here, that is the focus ring. And in case you would like to do manual focus or when auto focusing in the camera is proving to be difficult due to various conditions, switch the camera to manual focus and you turn this ring yourself and you get a perfect focus. Then you have two controls here which you will find on most lenses. One is the autofocus and the manual focus button. AF means autofocus, MF means manual focus. So you switch between the two depending on what shooting conditions you are exploring. Then you have the next button that says image stabilizer. Now this is a relatively new function that has come into cameras, mostly digital DSLRs, where the image is stabilized by a set of lens elements moving inside the main lens. So it allows you to shoot at much lower shutter speeds than what was previously possible without an image stabilizer. So this type of image stabilization is called optical image stabilization because the lens has extra elements inside it which actually move in an opposite direction to the shake of the camera at low shutter speeds and thereby stabilize the picture. But I need to tell you one thing very important. It will not remove the shake or a blur of a fast moving subject. It will only neutralize the effects of a camera that is shaking. Maybe that is because you are not able to hold it very steadily in your hand. So you have the control here that says stabilizer on off like this. This is off, this is on. You have manual focus, put it into automatic and it comes back. And the rear part of the lens is what is mounted onto the camera body. So this is the ring which fits into the camera body and then gives you a secure connection between the two. And you can see all these contacts here, these are the contacts that actually transmit the information from the lens to the camera body, which allows the camera body to decide what is the exposure to be set according to what zoom that you are keeping. Now let us fit the lens back to the camera body. There it goes. I switched it on, I am now putting it on autofocus, and now the camera is ready to shoot. Now what happens, a very important point to remember is that if you are using it in the autofocus mode, do not turn this, because once the camera is in the autofocus mode, the motor and the gears inside are locked, and if you try to turn this ring over and above that without realizing that it is on autofocus mode, you will end up completely crashing the gears, and then it becomes a completely manual focus camera, because this no more is connected to the main camera body. So you will have to be really careful about that. The other thing that you will have to be careful is, because the lens is quite large in its outside diameter, you might have a tendency to inadvertently put your finger like this, and ultimately what happens is you will have a lot of fingerprints here, and your images will start looking ghostly or very soft, and you may not really realize why it is happening. So ensure that you have to keep this very, very clean. So for that purpose, you can actually use a filter which is normally called a UV filter or ultraviolet filter. It is more like a protection piece of glass, and you can see this ring here, and that is exactly what it is, the front ring. So in case you unfortunately drop the camera due to various reasons, or you have to touch it, it is only this that takes all the beating, and your main lens is completely protected. So to recap, the lens and the camera body can be separated in a DSLR, which allows you to use any lens for any particular purpose. You have the zoom ring here. This is from 18 millimeters to 55 millimeters, as you can see here. So this is the zoom ring, and this is the autofocus that will not work when you have locked it in autofocus. If you really have to do manual focus, you will have to go to the control here, switch it to manual focus, and then this can turn freely. Then you have the image stabilizer button. Like we said, it stabilizes the lens by introducing a new set of elements which move in opposite direction to the shake of the camera, thereby allowing you to use lower shutter speeds than before. Then avoid touching the front of the lens as much as possible, and which is why we advise using a ultraviolet or a glass filter on top.